What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We have another NBA slate for this nice Monday night. So hopefully we can have us a good day today. There's a lot of good games on the board that we'll talk about here in just a minute. Before we talk about any of these games, we got to take care of some housekeeping. The first thing is first, we have to take care of our random comment picker. We do this in every single video. If this video gets 250 likes, I will randomly select a random comment from the comments to win a free month of our VIP. So make sure you guys are dropping a like on this video. Make sure you're leaving a comment, and make sure you guys are subscribed. You have to be a subscriber to win. So I'm going to go ahead and pick our winner, and then we're going to do a recap, and I'll show you guys what we did yesterday in VIP. So first winner is for Texas Bass Wrangler, who said Rozier with a tee-hee face or a laughing face. I can't tell what that is. There's a smudge on my, I think it's a blushing emoji maybe. But anyway, Texas Bass Wrangler, send me a message on Discord. I will get you added for that free month of VIP, my man. I appreciate the love and support from every single one of you. And let's take a look at our bet tracker from yesterday, because yesterday was phenomenal. So yesterday, money lines profited $1,250. That is 2 days in a row where we profited over $1,200. So over a band, 2 days in a row. Profit for this month sitting at $2,690. Looking at the bets that I placed yesterday, everything from yesterday is going to be from the 4th. I had a teaser for the Steelers, which cashed. Had a teaser for the Pistons, which cashed. I had Vikings money line with a total under 36.5, which cashed. Had Texans minus 9.5. This was a game I wasn't super confident in, I'm going to be honest with you. So I put half a unit on it, and that one did end up cashing. The game before that, or after that, was a Wizards teaser. I honestly should have put half a unit on this one. I even stated in the Discord that I thought about putting half a unit on this one. I should have. Risk management could have been better, and I could have had another $125 added to my day yesterday. But Wizards teaser missed. Patriots minus 13.5 was free. And then we had a Steelers money line and a total over 40. Now, this one was tough. I put $200 on it. It cashed out $669 in profit. Was a huge slip. I'll show you here in a minute. We played a lot of these on Prizepicks. But yesterday, overall, great day. Looking at the public tracker for the where the money's at. So right now, public tracker. All of these games are from yesterday. It was Miami, Bucks, Grizzlies, and has a 75% hit rate. So 2 of the 3 yesterday with more than 70% of the money, which you guys can see here. 92% on money line, 67% on spread, 72% and 79%. And for the ones that are wondering what the heck I'm even talking about here, I'm tracking the games where the public has more than 70% of the money average on a team. And I took this L, or this one was an L, but there was 96% of the money on the spread, which is the only reason I put this one on here. Averaged out to be 69% total for the Grizzlies, but 96% on the spread, which is one reason that I really added this one to the list. And 75% of these have hit, so it's been kind of the opposite of what I would expect. I do think this is going to turn around. I see less than 50% for sure on this, but we'll see what happens. But overall, guys, $1,250 day yesterday, profiting $2,700 on the month on our money lines only. So hopefully we can keep that up. Some of the wins. Here's those wins I was talking about. I had a Pistons teaser. Took Detroit plus 10 with Green Bay plus 20. In my opinion, this game for Green Bay was just a very low-scoring game in general. The total was set to 37 for a reason, and getting beat by 20 points when the total is that low is very hard to do. I knew Green Bay wasn't going to put up many points on the board, but I thought they could keep it within 20, which they did. That cashed. Then we had a teaser right here. I took the Titans-Jacksonville game under 56 points. I told you guys in the video yesterday I was going to tease this. Played it with the Steelers plus 12, and I took the Ravens-Steelers game over 32. This one was free. That one was pretty sweat-free. The Jacksonville game had me worried slightly, but that one did cash us out for $217. Had Mitchell and Porter. I gave this away for free yesterday on the free picks. $250 to win $452. That cashed. We actually should have swept the free picks. Travis Etienne once again pulls the trigger. We went 3-1 yesterday on the free picks. Etienne couldn't give us 50 yards. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers catches pretty easily, and these are the other 2 free picks. So 3-1, unlucky that we chalked the second slip. There's a Minnesota and the under that cashed. Here's our combo. Pittsburgh wins and a total over 40.5. It was $191 to win $869. That cashed. Had New England to win by 13.5. That cashed. Flowers and Rodgers on sleeper cashed, and another nice little 4-man on sleeper cash. So overall, yesterday was very green, and hopefully we can keep that going into today. If you guys do want to get all of our plays, you want us to tell these money lines, there is a WAP link down in the description. There is also a Discord link. If you want to join the Discord for free and just kind of take a look at the Discord itself, ask some questions, whatever, chat with us, the Discord is free to join. Everybody should be in there. If you're not, it's a great community, and we'd love to have you. If you do want to get every single play, though, you go through WAP. It is $10 a week or $25 per month. You can get 20% off right now using code NBA. You guys can see this here, all caps, code NBA for 20% off, and you guys can get in there for less than $10 a week and less than $20 per month. So that being said, link for that's down in the description. We'd love to have you in here, and let's go ahead and talk about some of these games. So first game on the slate that we have today is going to be the Knicks taking on the Pistons. Now, this is one of the better games on the slate, in my opinion. Right now, Detroit is plus 127 at home. 2.5-point spread, 232.5 total. A lot of people might be wondering why Detroit are underdogs at home. It's because they're on a back-to-back. 60% of the money is going to be on the Knicks on both spread and money line. Taking a look at these two teams, we got two of the best teams in the league playing each other. The Knicks are on a 3-game loss streak. They got beat by Philly, they got beat by Atlanta, and they got beat by the Spurs in San Antonio. But they lost 2 back-to-back games at home. Now, Karl Anthony Towns has been out. Josh Hart is still out. Landry's out. So they have had some potential players missing. Mitchell Robinson's been questionable in a lot of these games. So that being said, you kind of got to take some of these losses with a grain of salt, and one of them was on a back-to-back. So that one was a tough game anyway. Looking at the Pistons just beat the Cavs. That one was in Cleveland. I actually called this. I said I thought the Pistons had a good shot at beating the Cavs for plus money. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I played that Pistons teaser, and I truthfully meant to put half a unit on Pistons money line yesterday. And I forgot to do it. I didn't do it, and that cost me about $150 in profit. So very unlucky there. This game's tough to call. So, looking at this game, yeah, Detroit is plus 127 at home. They are on a back-to-back, but they're still one of the better teams in the league. The biggest thing for Detroit this game is that they are still missing Jalen Duren. They're still missing Tobias Harris. Chris LeVert is questionable, and Wendell Moore is questionable as well. So they have a lot of players questionable compared to this Knicks team. So the Knicks being on fresher legs, even though they're traveling, not missing as many players, I have to roll with New York here because I think these teams are competitive even when they're both fully healthy and they're both fully fresh. So I think it's a competitive game anyway. Give me the Knicks tonight, minus 122. Not a super confident play. If I was going to run a teaser, I'd probably take Detroit like plus 7.5 or something on this, and I may end up running with that. But I do like the Knicks to win this game, and I think they have a good shot at that, and I'm going to be running with them today on this game. Next game is going to be the Bulls-Celtics. Minus 470 for the Celtics at home, an 11.5 spread, and a 235.5 total. This game's not super difficult, in my opinion, for the Celtics. 66% of the money's on the Celtics for a reason. Now, am I saying the Bulls can't win this? They're plus 500 underdogs for a reason. They could definitely come out here and get a dub. Now, the Celtics have looked pretty dang electric lately. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They just beat the Clippers in Los Angeles. Kings and Jazz, the 2 weaker teams they beat. They beat the Pacers twice. So a lot of these games, not super like strong wins. And we look at this Bulls team. The Bulls have won, what is this, 7 of their last 10 games. So they haven't looked bad at all. But they just got beat by Charlotte by 12 or 13 points. So right now the Bulls are dealing with a lot of injuries. Zach Collins is out. Josh Giddey is still out. Kobe White is questionable. Missing a lot of these starting 5 players. It's hard to trust a team that even when they're fully healthy is so streaky, and they're missing a lot of their stars. It makes it hard to take them. So the Celtics team's been looking good. I don't think the Celtics come here and get beat by the Bulls. I do think there's a potential there. If you want to take the Bulls for plus 465, be my guest. I'm not telling you not to do that because if they cash, then you have a nice little payout there. But for me, the Celtics are going to win this game, and this Bulls is just too beat up right now to come out here on the road and get a win versus the Celtics. Next game on the slate is another good one, another banger. We have Toronto taking on Atlanta. This one is going to be in Toronto with 3.5 spread, a 234.5 total. Right now, it's kind of 50-50 on where the money's at. More money on Atlanta on the money line, but more money on Toronto to cover a 3.5-point spread. Look at these two teams. Atlanta's only won 2 of their last 10 games. They beat Minnesota and they beat the Knicks. So it's pretty crazy. They've only won 2 of their last 10, but they beat 2 of the best teams in the league. So tough wins there, but they did get. So maybe they can come out here and get a win versus the Raptors. They did play Toronto in their last game. They got beat by Toronto in their last game, but they were on a back-to-back. So they lost to the Knicks, or beat the Knicks, in New York, and then traveled and had to travel to Toronto, and then lost to Toronto on a back-to-back. So that back-to-back was kind of an expected loss, in my opinion. I actually had Toronto there. But if you come over here and look at the Raptors have won 3 of their last 4 as well. So they haven't looked bad. They beat Golden State, they beat Orlando, and they beat Atlanta. This game's at home again, so maybe they can pull out a dub here tonight. If you look at Atlanta, they're missing Trae Young. They're missing Toppin Steele, obviously. Dante's obviously out for season. Luke Kennard is questionable. Looking at Toronto, you got Hepburn is questionable, and Jakob Poeltl is also out this game. So this Toronto team's been doing pretty good without Poeltl. They have R.J. Barrett back. They've been looking pretty strong. For player props, I think this is a pretty decent game. You can never count out Jalen Johnson. Obviously, Brandon Ingram has been a beast. The thing about this team right here is Ingram, Barrett, or Barnes, either one could just pop off randomly. And if one of them pops off, the other two typically don't do as much. So if Barnes has a 50 PRA game, you can go ahead and say Ingram's probably not going to have a great game. Same thing for Barrett. Same thing for Ingram with Barrett and Barnes. So it's just kind of pick one of the three amigos and see which one cashes you. But I do like Ingram here. I think Ingram's going to be one of them that pops off. And I'm not saying that if one pops off, the other can't cash. I'm just saying typically they tend to slow the roll a little bit. But regardless, this game's tough to call money line wise. I'm kind of leaning with the Raptors here. I don't know why I'm feeling Raptors, but Atlanta at plus money. Very hard to fade Atlanta here plus money. So maybe I'll end up going with Atlanta. So we'll see what happens. If anything, you could take Atlanta plus 8.5, and they probably cover that spread if you play a teaser. So you could play a teaser with like Atlanta and Pistons plus 8.5, plus 7.5, and that'd probably be a pretty nice little teaser. And I may end up sprinkling a little bit on that. So just so you guys know, I am new to teasers on NBA. This is something I've never done before. This year is pretty much one of the only years I've actually started doing it. And for the ones in the comments, I saw your comments about a teaser. What is a teaser? And I'm going to give you an example of a teaser right here. So a teaser is when you buy extra points for a team. And typically, or not typically, you always have to have at least 2 teams on a teaser. So you're playing spreads or totals. You can't do it with money line. You have to play with a spread or total. So for example, if I took Boston minus 11.5 and I took Atlanta plus 3.5 on a teaser, the teaser would allow me to buy 5 points and get even odds. So I'd have 5 points in the direction for Boston. So Boston would go from 11.5 to a 6.5. And then Atlanta would go from a 3.5 to an 8.5 because they're getting points in their direction. So it just makes the plays safer. They're not always going to be safe, but they're safer. You're getting extra points. They are very, very good for NFL. NBA is a little rougher because you're buying just as many points as NFL as you do in the NBA, and you're looking at 50-point totals in the NFL versus 100 or 250-point totals in the NBA. So it makes it a lot harder on the NBA, but a lot of these games do stay very competitive in the NBA as well. Well, I say that, and it's National Blowout Association. Forget what I was about to say. But that's kind of what a teaser is. You're just buying extra points. I play a lot of them, and you can go back and look at the wins, and you can look at some of those games I was showing you. You can see the lines that we got. Like I had Steelers plus 12 because of the teaser. So just throwing it out there. Teasers are nice. I like them a lot. If you want to try them, they are in our Discord. Next game is going to be the Hornets versus the Thunder. We got OKC minus 900. Now, let me tell you something, guys. You got 90% of the money on OKC. This and then this odds is pretty much like 50-50 if you took a look at where the money's at. Because plus 900 odds, 10% of the money on that, you're still winning 10x. So you're looking at pretty much even odds in terms of percentage of money. If they win, Vegas is going to lose just as much on Charlotte winning as they would for OKC. So 90% of the money doesn't scare me. OKC's on a back-to-back. They're by far the better team. If you look at this Charlotte's team, they're questionable Knuppel. Diabate's questionable. Kalkbrenner is out. Brandon Miller's probable. Plumlee is out. Grant Williams is out. I don't even know how to say his name, to be honest with you, but he's out. OKC missing some players, obviously. Hartenstein's back questionable this game. He might play. Jalen Williams is doubtful. Not missing super many players. They got majority of their team. They're good to go. Even on the back-to-back, they just got beat by Phoenix. Big win for Phoenix. Big loss for OKC. But OKC is a far better team than Charlotte. If you wanted to sprinkle something on Charlotte, maybe OKC loses 2 in a row. I kind of doubt it being in OKC. If this one was in Charlotte, possibly at plus 900, I'd take Charlotte. And I'm not saying it's dumb to take a sprinkle unit there because it's really probably not. If they win, you got plus 900 odds. But regardless, guys, I mean, I got to roll with OKC here. Not much more to really say. Next game on the slate is going to be the Rockets versus the Suns. This is not a game that I'm wanting to put very much money on. I might play a couple of Rockets players. Phoenix on a back-to-back just beating OKC. Tough game. Now they're on the road in Houston. I just don't see them beating Houston in Houston when Houston's fresh. So give me the Rockets here. I don't even care how the last few games have looked. We can look at injuries, though. Grayson Allen is questionable. Jalen Green is still out. Houston is questionable. Steven Adams. Sengun is out, and Van Vliet is out. So without Sengun and without Steven Adams, this could be kind of tough for them, but they're missing a lot of their centers. But I do think even with Sengun being out, they're the better team. And honestly, Phoenix being on a back-to-back scares me too. But I will say, Phoenix looked real good. So Phoenix at plus 288 with no Sengun. Maybe Phoenix is a spot where you could take an underdog. I don't see it happening. I'm still running with Houston there myself personally. Next game is going to be Nuggets versus Sixers. This is going to be a good game in my opinion. You got Philly minus 488. This is kind of, I'm not going to say disrespectful because Denver's missing a lot of players, but it's pretty rough line there. And that's why there's so much money on Denver. 66% of the money on Nuggets money line. Nuggets plus 11.5 versus Philly. Now, Philly's been strong. They beat Dallas, Memphis, and the Knicks in 3 back-to-back games. They just went to New York and beat the Knicks. Tough game, but they did win. If you look at the Nuggets are on a back-to-back. So, ended up getting beat by Brooklyn last night, 127 to 115. So that's a tough L for them. Now, looking at this lineup, guys, they do have Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown back. The only players they're missing right now is Jokic, Joe Val, Cam Johnson, and Bates. So, Jokic Jokic is mainly the biggest loss here. Missing Jokic is tough, especially when they're on a back-to-back. Makes it slightly worrisome. Philly has a probable Embiid. They're only missing Kelly Oubre and then Watford. So Philly's looking strong. Philly probably wins, but the Nuggets at plus 500, even on a back-to-back, I don't think that's a bad play, and I may end up just playing around and sprinkling that. If you played that with like Phoenix or something, you could have a really big parlay if both of them ended up winning. But I think Philly's going to win. I just can't play them at this juice line. I can't play them at a minus 11.5 spread versus the Nuggets either. I just think that's a little bit too far, but that's just me personally. Next game on the slate is going to be the Jazz taking on the Trailblazers. Trailblazers are minus 210 at home, 6.5 point spread with a 243.5 total, so a very high total right now. It's 50-50 split on where the money is at. A lot of these games have been 50-50 lately, so not a whole lot of massive money line favorites or anything. I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. We're gonna move past that next. But looking at these two teams, Ace Bailey's questionable, Nurkic is questionable, missing Kessler obviously. Kevin Love is still out, Niang is out. So that being said, I do think that this Jazz team is going to keep this game competitive. Portland's still missing a lot of players. Avdia is still playing. Avdia is obviously a guy that can put up 40 points in some games, so got to be careful with that. They just went on the road in San Antonio and beat the Spurs. They beat the Pelicans in New Orleans the game before that. They did get blown out by OKC the game before that, but these were back-to-back games. They're on a back-to-back and come into San Antonio and beat the Spurs. So big win for this Trailblazers team. They've won 4 of the last 5, and they beat 4 okay teams. I mean, the Pelicans aren't good. Dallas isn't good, but they're not horrible either. So they beat some decent teams. I think there's some big wins there. And I do think that they probably beat this Jazz team, especially with the Jazz missing so many players. But I do think this game could be competitive. It's got a high total for a reason. Lauri Markkanen here is a good one. Avdia is a good one in my opinion. Keontae George is probably going to be a good line. I'll probably sprinkle some on Keontae as well. But regardless, this game should stay competitive, and it's got a high total, so it's very good for props. Last game on the slate we have is going to be the Warriors taking on the Clippers. The Clippers are minus 104 at home, a 1.5 spread, a 225.5 total, low-scoring game. Most of the money right now, or majority of the money, more money, is going to be on the Warriors than on the Clippers. So Clippers have been one of those teams that lately they played incredible. They have won 6 of their last 7 games. And this is the only stretch this season where they've actually been winning, as you can see. So they've looked very strong lately, beat Detroit, beat Houston, beat the Lakers, beat the Trailblazers, Sacramento, and the Jazz they beat. And a lot of these games, they're blowing teams out. 41-point win versus Sacramento. But look at the Warriors. The Warriors have been playing hot as well. 6 of their last 8 games they've won. They just come off a win versus the Jazz 2 days ago. They did get blown out by OKC, but they were missing Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler there, so they're missing 2 of their better players. This game, they're only missing Cryer, and they're only missing Curry. And Cryer's questionable. He may play. The Clippers missing Bradley Beal, missing Bogdanovich. Derek Jones is out. And then, we're not even going to attempt to say that name either because I know how I am with names, and that one will screw me up. But right now, this team, to be honest, when Zubac is out, they play better. I'm pretty sure this is like Zubac's first game in and they lose, and they get blown out by Boston. So this was at home. So I don't know about Zubac. Maybe Zubac's their weakness. Maybe they just need to bench him and bring in somebody else and let their team feast because they've been feasting. This game could go either way. I'm kind of leaning Golden State here, but that's not a confident pick. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Jimmy Butler has a big game. Curry could potentially have a big game. I like Kawhi Leonard here. I think he has a big game as well. Potentially Zubac if Zubac comes here to play. But we'll take a look at that here in a minute. We'll look at Zubac's minutes and stuff like that. But overall, I think this game could go either way. I'm kind of leaning Golden State at plus 106, though, because Golden State just has been more consistent this season, in my personal opinion. And overall, they have looked better than the Clippers have for the entirety of this season. So that's what I got. Jumping into some player props, we're about to lock in some slips live. If you guys do want to tell these, I will say, guys, if you do want to join our VIP, but you don't want to pay the $25, you can get a month free trial for signing up to any partnered app down in the description and making a $10 deposit or more. Each of these apps will give you a deposit match, and you can get up to 7 full months for free because you can stack all these signups. So if you want to sign up for Parlay Play and Chalkboard at the same time, you can get 2 months for free right off the bat, and you don't have to worry about paying anything. So that being said, the ones I recommend are the ones I just said, Chalkboard and Parlay Play. Both of those apps are great. Chalkboard, I've been doing some ladders on recently. Ladders haven't been going the best. I'll be honest with you, been struggling with them, but we're going to start one back up today because we have a nice NBA slate. So we'll have a ladder today on Chalkboard. If you want to sign up, use code Fantasy Aces. Same thing for Parlay Play, code Fantasy Aces. They will give you $5 for free to bet with. They will give you a deposit match up to $100, and you get free VIP. It is a no-brainer. Make sure you guys are signing up if you haven't. Any of the 7 apps down in the description. One more plug, shameless plug, and we'll jump into these picks. So plug I'm talking about right now is going to be something called Upside Tools. So this is an optimizer, guys. So an optimizer takes the plays from the apps. You can select the app that you want, and it allows you to find the best value across the apps. It gives you a hit rate. For example, Brandon Miller here, under 5 rebounds, has a 55.9% chance to hit. If you look at the value across other boards, this is plus 111 for 4.5 on DraftKings, minus 162 on FanDuel, minus 164 on Novig, and you can just see the value. Minus 272 on Underdog. Like, you can see why the value here on Prizepicks is so much better. So it helps you line shop very easily. It's a very good app if you're looking to find different lines across different apps. It makes it very, very easy. You ain't got to go plug in all these numbers on different apps and just hope that the payout is better on certain ones. You can see it right here, real time. You can see what the odds really are. So if you guys want to try this out, there's a 5-day free trial down in the description. Just use code ACES and you'll get the $5 5-day free trial, as well as a 25% off discount of your first month. But that is there in the description, Upside Tools. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and jump into these free picks. And once again, guys, if you don't know what app I use here, I'm using Outlier. Outlier is my favorite research tool. If you guys want a 7-day free trial, there's a link for that in the description too. Just throwing it out there. I don't say that in many videos, but there's always an Outlier link for 7 days for free if you want to try it. And I don't really get paid for pushing Outlier. They just let me use their platform. So you got to think of it that way too. I love, if I wasn't getting this platform for free, I would be paying for it every single week. So, or every single month. So love Outlier. But anyways, first pick of the day that we're going to talk about is going to be for our man Brandon Ingram. I told you guys Ingram is one of those players that if the other two pop off, he can kind of just sit back and just not really do much. But Ingram's been a wagon as of lately for me. I ain't going to say he's not due for regression, because he is due for regression in some games. He's been cashing. He's cashed his 5 games in a row. You're going to see a lot of players on Prizepicks that are going to come and look at the last 5 and be like, dang, it's all green. He's dominated this. We have to play him. And then there's going to be so much money on Ingram, he ends up chalking. Happens all the time. Now, Ingram has cashed this line 69% of games on the season. He averages 32 PRA. Head-to-head data versus Atlanta, he has cashed this in 3 of his last 4. He has 3 games this season. He's cashed 2 of 3 games this season. The recent one being on the 3rd. He's had 39 PRA on the 3rd, and they had a nice win versus Atlanta. This is another game in Toronto. They're playing at home. I think he's going to have a good game here tonight. If you look at Atlanta's points, rebounds, and assists defense, they don't play very well or very good defense at all. They give up a lot of stats to every single position. So I like Atlanta here for this one. If you're looking at the forward positions, give up a lot of stats to the forward as well. Specifically the small forward position. Lineup right here, we already know Jakob Poeltl is going to be out. Ingram, obviously, starting at the guard position to guards, they give up a lot of stats as well. So, regardless, Ingram has a good matchup here. It's not a bad matchup at all, and 29.5 is just low enough for me to want to take it. So, I'm going to pull this play up over here on Parlay Play, and then we'll check it on Prizepicks, and we'll check the value to see which place has it better. So, 29.5 right now on Parlay Play. We're going to come over here and just type in Ingram. Ingram is 29.5 on Prizepicks. And who we're going to pair Ingram with. So for me, the first pair that I'm going to have with Ingram is going to be for our man Jimmy Butler. I'm going to take Jimmy Butler for 24.5 PRA. I like this line. Butler has been a wagon for this line. Very consistent with it. 24.5 is low for him. He's cashed it 10 of his last 10. He's averaging 30 PRA over his last 10. He's cashed this 84% of games on the season. And then head-to-head, he's played very well versus the Clippers recently. He has one game this season where he had 31 PRA. The game last season he had 40. So a good matchup for him. He's done well versus them. If you look at the Clippers versus the forward position to small forwards, they give up a lot of stats. They do not play good defense versus small forward. To power forward, it's the complete opposite of that. I like the matchup here. I think Butler has a great game. 24.5 24.5 is just way too low. He's getting 31.6 minutes per game. He's putting up around 12 field goal attempts. Not taking a lot of shots as of lately, but he's doing what he needs to do, and he's hitting the shots he takes them. Butler can pop off at any game. There's going to be games where he can drop 20-plus points for sure, so we can come over here and look at his points. You can see this. He's averaging 20 points pretty much on the season. Lately, his points have not been that great. He has some games going up. He's got some games where he's getting 14 or 15. Over the last 20, he has a couple games where he just really hasn't done much. But overall, Butler's been putting up consistently 15 to 20 points. Head-to-head, he had 21 and 30 his last two games versus the Clippers. He gives us 20 points. He's going to give us 4 RA, in my opinion, and he's going to cash his 24.5 for us. So let's pull it up. Butler over on parlay play. So his PRA line is boosted on parlay play, which gives us a 1.9x. So 250 wins us 470, which is probably where I'm going to be playing it. And then Butler over here on Prizepicks, PRA, that's points and assists. PRA, more, gives us a 1.7x. So you're getting almost 0.2x better on parlay play, which is why I'm going to be playing it here. So we're going to place our bet. Parlay play on the videos sometimes takes forever to lock in. Why, I don't know, but it will pop up here in a second, and we'll refresh the page, and I'll show you it's legit. But that is going to be slip number 1, and there it is. We're going to come to track picks. We're going to refresh so you know it's legit. Come over here, Jimmy Butler with Brandon Ingram, both PRA lines, 250 to win 470 as our first slip of the day. Jumping into slip number 2. The first pick for slip number 2 we're going to have is going to be for man Lauri Markkanen. Now, I'm running a 3-pick goblin parlay right here that gives us right at a double up. So if you don't like these kind of plays, you don't have to. I will give you an option to get rid of one of these players. So Markkanen at 29.5 PRA. Markkanen has been a beast. He's the all-star player for the Jazz, playing against Portland in a fast-paced game. He's cashed this line 76% on the season, averaging 37 PRA. Head-to-head, he had 39 his only game this season versus the Trailblazers. He's played well versus them in the past. Trailblazers give up a lot of stats. Go to power forward. They give up a decent amount of stats. The top 10 defense in terms of rebounds allowed. I don't think that's going to matter. Markkanen's going to get his. He's going to come out here and he's going to score. If Ace Bailey and Nurkic sit, obviously more usage for Markkanen in terms of scoring as well. But looking at Keontae George or Markkanen here, you could run either one of these players, and I think they both cash. So give me Lauri Markkanen. He's been the one who's cashed me most times this season. If you look at his last 20, he's cashed 75%. But you got to look at the games he's missed. Hook here, one bucket away here, 27-27. Not one game has he missed by more than 3 PRA, which is a very, very consistent. So I'm willing to take a chance on Markkanen here. He's going to cash it majority of games, more than he doesn't. So Markkanen at 29.5 PRA is one of my favorite lines on the board, to be honest with you guys. So let's go ahead and lock it in. 29.5. Yes, it's a 1.24x. You're not getting good value on this, but you're going to have to parlay these together. So we're going to look it up on parlay play, or Prizepicks, I mean. We're going to play these together and see which one has the best value. So second pick I had to go with Markkanen is Jaylen Brown. I like Jaylen Brown. I like this matchup. Now, this game potentially could become a blowout. I think the Bulls are going to keep it competitive, personally. So give me this. It's points, not PRA. So points, we're getting Brown at 24.5 points. He's cashed it 9 of his last 10 games. He's averaging 32 points over his last 10. Just come off a 50 bomb versus the Clippers. I'm looking at him this season. He's cashed it 78%. And then head-to-head, he's only cashed it 1 of his last 4 versus Chicago. But none of them are from this season. So you got to think Jason Tatum playing in all these games. I'm pretty sure, yeah. So Tatum in those games is going to take up a lot of Brown's usage. Without Tatum, Brown has been a freaking monster. The Bulls have one of the weakest points defense in the league. Doesn't matter pretty much to any position. Yeah, if you look at small forward position, they give up 4th in the league, giving up 20 points per game. Brown's going to do his thing. He's going to cash us out here, in my opinion. 25 is just too low, especially when you're putting up 22 field goal attempts per game. Look at his last 5 games he's put up. 22.6 field goal attempts, 25 and 26 in his last 2 games. So I'm expecting a similar performance from Brown, especially if this game stays competitive. I think he cashes this pretty easily. So Brown, 24.5 points. Very hard for me to want to fade him at this line, personally. And then we got him over here on parlay play, and this gives us a 1.5x on parlay play and a 1.5x on Prizepicks. So it's literally the exact same value. And then last play that I'm throwing in with him is going to be for our man Jalen Brunson. I'm taking Brunson for 24.5 points as well. Brunson's been another guy who's been a wagon for 25 points. This is a big game for this team. So playing against the Pistons in Detroit, huge game for Brunson. He's cashed this line in 8 of his last 10, and he's cashed it 76% of games on the season. He's averaging 29.15 points per game. Head-to-head data versus Detroit. He plays well versus Detroit. He turns up majority of the time. We don't have any data from this season, but in the last couple seasons, or all of these from last year. Yes. So all these games from last year, we ended up having a a 80% hit rate, 30.2 points per game. So doing very, very well versus the Pistons. The Pistons have a good defense. We already know that. To the guard position, they have a good defense as well. They don't give up super amount of points. But if you look at Brunson, he's averaging 22 field goal attempts. You look at his last 10 games, he's averaging 24.3 field goal attempts. Some of these games he's getting close to 30 field goals. So, and a field goal, if you don't know, is just a shot attempt. So almost 30 shot attempts per game. You look at a player with that kind of volume, it's impossible to not think they can give you 25 points. When it's Brunson, it is hard to guard Brunson. Now, watching this guy play this season, he's been a freaking monster, and I can't not take him for 25 points. So this is another thing I'm going to say. If you prefer to play Brunson's points higher, then just take off either Markkanen or Jaylen Brown. You can. This gives us a double up on the dot. I wouldn't mind taking Brunson at 26 to 27.5 points. His regular line is 29.5. You can't get that here. But if we were to come over here to Prizepicks, and they're about the same value, so we'll check here. So it's a 1.9x. You're actually getting better value on parlay play than you are on our Prizepicks with the same lines. So better value on parlay play. But if we took Brunson to, let's see here, 26.5, this goes to a 2.2x. Can you go higher than that? No, 26.5 is the best you're going to get. So if you took off, say, Jaylen Brown here, you're still going to have a 1.8x. So if you rather do something like that, I think that's a good line too, 26.5. I can see him scoring 27. I'm taking a shot here. I like these three a lot for a double up on parlay play. I think the value is good, and I'm going to run Brunson right here. So that's the second pick of the day, the second slip. We have Jaylen Brown, 24.5 points, Markkanen, 29.5 PRA, Brunson, 24.5 points. Then we got Butler, a 24.5 PRA, and Ingram, 29.5 PRA on the other slip. So that's what I got for today, guys. Lock them in if you like them. Fade them if you don't. If you're not in the Discord, you guys need to get in there. We're going to have another good day to get today. I can feel it. The win streak is starting. But anyways, hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you guys have a great start to your week, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.